Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world today. My name is Maryam Bey, and I'm the host of television. And I have to say this every time I do my show. I bring on the best guests. And today, I have another best guest. And his name is Mike Ross. For some reason, I had wanted to call you Rick, but it's Mike Ross. And Mike is a comedian. And he's going to tell you his story so we can start the conversation. Let's see how funny he is. Welcome.
Hey, it's an honor and a pleasure. I'm more than obliged to be here, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, you want to tell us some things about your, how did you decide to be a comedian?
I think comedy chose me, to be honest. You know, in my journey, it was never a thing that I thought of doing. Growing up in my community, we grew up with a lot of scholars and educators, and you had to be on the level. You know, they had on my street, you had to be a engineer or go to college, a professor or doctor, lawyer, at the least a police officer or firefighter. And I had all of that on my street. So you had all of that to choose from. So I ended up becoming, after going to HBCU, Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas, a firefighter, because I saw my uncle and my neighbors were firefighters and cops.
Okay.
So that was like what you were expected to do the least. Mm-hmm. And I felt I accomplished that mission to say, okay, I was able to be on the level. So you can never go home and say, I'm gonna be a comedian, because you would have been told very quickly, find something else to do.
Right.
So comedy found me. It was never my plan. And when it found me, the bug bit me. And I realized instantly, I like this. And I could do this. And it was effortless. Okay. So when they told me it was natural, I received it. I said, yeah, it has to be, because I never tried.
Okay. Oh yeah, because it came natural.
It exuded itself.
Right. Okay.
And I didn't know that. So when you have a gift, and you may not know it, it's almost like somebody telling Whitney Houston to sing.
Yes.
And she opened her mouth, and it's like, this child has a gift.
Right.
So when the person told me, I'm like, do I? But when I saw the audience receive me, I was like, I could do this all day. So yes, that's how the journey started itself.
Okay, because it chose you.
It chose me.
Yes, so that still is a blessing, because...
Now, I hate to cut you off.
No, that's good.
I was always a smart aleck. I was always a class clown. I had a little asshole in me. So all those components made it easy to do. Okay. But I never chose comedy. Okay. You know? Yes. It was just part of my natural makeup.
Right.
Yes.
Right. You know who you remind me of?
Who's that?
Steve Harvey.
Oh, really?
Yes, when he was telling his story on how he started and everything in comedy.
Okay.
Yes, and he said that the night that he won his first contest, it was like $50.
Okay.
You know, and he was like so excited and everything about it. And that night he knew, this is what I am destined to do, because he was writing scripts for other comedians, and then he came to the comedy club that night, and the person who he had written the script for didn't show up. So he decided to do it, and that night.
It's ironic, because to be honest with you, I got one of my best friends in life. He's like a brother to me. His name is Curtis Porter. 10 times more hilarious than me. He just doesn't have the wherewithal or aptitude to get on the stage.
Okay.
I've had uncles and relatives that are 10 times funnier than me, friends that you're around. You ever go to a black cookout and you see the old black men that's sitting there just talking?
Yes.
They're not trying to be funny.
Right.
They're just naturally funny.
Right.
And they're funnier than anything you ever heard. So when you are around that, you don't think you're funny, because anybody you see, like I got a crackhead around the corner that I see at the barbershop who will make you laugh all day.
Right.
So it's hard to be funny in our culture, because a little bit of everybody's funny.
You know, you're right about
that.
Yeah,
you go to Thanksgiving and you got the uncle who comes up and he got himself together. He's recovering, but he starts telling his truths. You're gonna laugh all night.
Right.
So when you get that kind of funny, and you get on stage, you're trying to emulate the people that you saw, and it made you feel that way.
Yeah.
But you could never really be as funny. And every comedian that I saw said they know somebody in their family who was 10 times funnier than them.
Right.
Yes.
But you said something earlier when we were talking, we mentioned the gifts.
The gifts.
So they have that, but not the gift.
Now, one of the things that I was blessed with, I had a mentor. His name was Brother William Lewis Dunbar.
Oh, okay.
And he was an orator. So we were in a group called the King Players. And then he made us get up and have dissertations and essays, and we had to pronunciate and do dictations.
Okay.
And it was sort of like a debate.
Yes.
So if you messed up, you had to sit down and he embarrassed you. But the embarrassment broke you from the fear of doing public speaking. So when I did public speaking with Brother Dunbar for 2 years, it gave me the courage with the lack of fear to get up and speak and be able to execute the King James English and speak extemporaneously. And that was his word. When you can speak extemporaneously, you've mastered the diction. And he would always give you that. So I'm giving you that to say that was his nugget.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
And then you realize that this after you
Going through that.
Yes, and
Yes.
then you
Combine
became
both of them.
the firefighter.
The firefighter was one of those things where it was a great career, great camaraderie, and so many different personalities. So you have to find yourself within a group of maybe 100 to 120 men.
Okay.
And then you realize who you are stands out amongst those men because you're being organically you. And all of my friends were like, you need to be doing comedy. You don't need to be putting out firefighters, putting out fires, because you're more funny than a firefighter.
Okay.
But you have to realize doing all this, I wasn't trying to be funny.
Right.
I was being naturally me.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
Okay.
some of my friends, Haas Heria, and Mike Pilch, who I worked with, were like, you know, you owe us writing credits because we remembered all of your jokes.
Oh, right.
So they said,
Okay.
we're
So
giving
you
it
owe
back
them.
to you, owe us. Yes.
But they're not like 50 Cent, are they? Because 50 Cent said when you owe him, you're going to pay him.
Oh, you're going to pay 50. You're going to pay 50. I hope to never have to owe 50 because he's coming for you.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good.
Yes.
So now, when I was, as I was saying earlier, when I was trying to get more information about you, right?
Yes.
All your shows popped up.
Yes.
So now, and you recently did a show.
Yeah, I had a show on
And
the 24th.
Tanya told me how successful that was.
Yes.
And what was that like?
I heard Will Smith say his father told him and his brother to tear down a wall that was in front of the father's business. And he said, now I want you to build the wall back up, him and his brother. And his brother and himself looked at each other and said, it's insurmountable. How do we build this wall back together? So he said, we had no choice but to do it every day in the summer, brick by brick. And he
Okay.
said one day they looked up 2 years later and the wall was done.
Right.
He said, but we didn't look at the wall, we looked at it brick by brick. And then eventually we had a wall. So when I saw that, it stuck with me.
Right.
So I said, that's how I'm gonna take my career, show by show.
Right.
I'm not gonna look at a whole career, I'm just gonna take every show and try to make it the best show. And when I do that, I isolate any pressure. So I said, okay, this is the show, this is the theme, this is what I'm gonna focus on, and I'm gonna make this the best show it could be.
Right. So
And
every show is like
Every
that.
show is that.
Right.
Yes, and I think people get more consumed on looking down the road or what's going to happen later. No,
Instead of looking at the present
this is
right
it.
now.
Stay in the
Yes.
present and say this is going to be the best show. I can make this show.
Yes.
And I think that's what makes the show come out so good because I'm only focused on this show.
Yes.
Every show could be my last show.
Yes.
So I'm just glad the audience receives it. It feels what I wanted them to, you know, I was trying to get them to feel.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So now, what are some of the jokes that you tell?
Most of the jokes are relatable to our culture.
Okay.
Yes, so, you know, all my experiences, like one of the jokes that I say, that I can say I know that everybody can relate to is, I have an uncle that smokes crack. And he asked me for $20. And I asked him, what are you going to do, go smoke crack? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, I'll give you $20. And I got another uncle, and he does heroin. And he asked me for $20. I said, no. And he said, well, why would you give him $20 and not give me $20?
Right.
I said, he does crack. You do heroin. He said, well, what's the difference? We both do drugs. I said, you might die of fentanyl tonight. I might get charged. I said, he's going to come back later and cut my grass. I know I can depend on him to fix my roof or wash my car. I'm going to have to worry about you dying.
Right.
So crackheads are useful.
Okay.
We still need crackheads. I mean, come on now. In our neighborhood, we got your first VCR from a
Right.
crackhead.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's one of the jokes that we can relate to as
Okay.
African American people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Useful crackheads.
Youth. Okay. Yes. Good. So then you remind me of, and most successful people remind me of what I learned when I was working inside the prison system. The brothers taught me this statement: you got to put the work in.
Okay.
So the brick by brick
Right. Yes.
is putting
The work in. Absolutely.
Yes, you know, so and as Bishop T.D. Jakes says, like when you miss a step,
Yes.
which is a brick, you have to go back
Go back
and fix that.
and fix it. See, and we came up in that time where you could skip steps.
Right.
And they used to tell us, I'm going to tell you one time and one time only. And so if you messed up, you were scared to go back and tell somebody you messed up.
Right.
So you had to figure it out on your own.
Right.
Almost be a perfectionist.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So now, when you, I know you're definitely familiar with Cat Williams.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what is your style?
I think I emulated a little bit of Richard Pryor, being unapologetic, a little bit of Eddie Murphy, being, you know, flamboyant. And
okay.
a little bit of Cat Williams of being raw.
Yeah.
Very raw.
Okay.
T.K. Kirkland. So you try to take pieces of people you admire
Yes.
and make it organically yours
Right.
without, you know, just duplicating the individual. But those were the ones I were definitely influenced by when I looked at comedy and said, these guys make me laugh unapologetically,
Okay.
like an earthquake. His topic, his
Oh, yeah,
subjects
he's funny.
are so
Yes.
right here.
Yes.
And they're simple, but you can relate to them
Yes.
because we all went through them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's what I learned. It can be the simplest subject, but you can laugh from it because it's the truth.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So now, you've been doing this how long?
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you see yourself in 6 more years?
Hopefully alive.
Well, okay. Me too.
Yes.
Okay, I get that. I get that. Okay. Okay. So then, you're alive.
Yes.
So, what do you see yourself doing?
To be honest with you, I have no clue because guess what? I'm not in control. God in the universe is in control.
That is true.
So
That is true.
the hardest thing to do in life is to let go of the wheel. You could be in the driver's seat, but you gotta let go of the wheel. So when I let go of the wheel, I realize things happen for me that's supposed to happen for me. But when I'm trying to control the wheel and I say, it's me,
Right.
I'm not a, yeah, that's,
that is so true.
Yes. And it's
Yeah.
hard for us to surrender to say, you know what?
We're not in control.
We're not in control.
Right.
Whatever's going to happen for you is going to happen regardless.
happen.
Whether you thought it was going to happen or not, whether you think it's going to happen for you or not, we're going to say, I'm going to do A, B, and C. But it might be E, D, and F, but you still got to the destination.
Right.
Yeah, so-
You know what? That is so true.
Once I learned that, the hardest thing, and I'm a control freak, I'm a Capricorn,
Yeah. Okay.
and I let go of the wheel, I'm like, you know what? It's not me, it's bigger than me.
Right.
And when I do that, it happens.
Right.
But when
Yes.
you're trying to hold on to the wheel, you're forcing and you're fighting that journey, and you're making it a rockier road. So I never
That
try
is
and
true.
outline the destination.
Right.
I may say I want to be A, B, and C, and I'll leave it alone.
Right. And you just keep doing the
Keep
work.
moving forward.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And a friend of mine told me, her name was Tony Bird, when I first started the comedy thing, she said, man, let me tell you something. It ain't the destination, it's the joy in the journey. And that stuck with me. And I never forgot it. So I find the joy in the journey day by day.
That is true.
Yeah, so I don't look down the road. all I can do is make the best of that day.
That is so true. You know what you remind me of? So I was talking to someone today, as a matter of fact, about the things that I want to do, that I'm doing. And I said to her, I said, you know what? I'm not in control of any of this. I have to just keep, if I'm believing in what it is that I want to do, I have to keep on just putting the work in. And then the universe, yes, that's right. And then the universe is going to bring to us what it is that we need to have. Because I got to use a 50-cent quote, because what it does, what we're doing, we're living our gift and is making us become, as he said, who we're destined to be.
And it's time, place, the situation.
Exactly.
At the time, this place, the situation, your frequency, your vibration is off.
Right.
You're not going to get it.
You're right.
But when your vibration is right, your alignment is right, you're going to get the people that come into your place, the time, and whatever. And then you sit back and say, wait a minute, how did that happen?
Right.
So you might not have the money, you might not have the time, you might not have the resources, but it's going to come to you at the proper place, time, and position when you're ready to receive it.
That's right. And you know what comes into play with all of that? The faith.
There you go.
You got to keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
Yes.
Keep the faith.
Because I turned 73 years old in April this year.
Time out.
Okay.
We got to do a round of applause for that. I would have never guessed that. Now that's what you call black don't crack, sister.
Okay.
I thought you was every bit of 50. No. Amen.
Thank you. I turned 73.
Yes.
And what I did when I was younger, I thought I was going to be the next Diana Ross because she was my favorite singer.
Well, that's a good thing to shoot for.
Yes. And I continued to do that, right? I didn't stop singing and all that stuff. I continued on doing it, right? And so in May of this year, I performed at it was the Terrace Ballroom.
Okay.
At Symphony Hall.
Awesome.
And I performed 50 cents in the club.
How did it feel?
Felt so good.
So exhilarating, right?
And let me tell you what happened.
Yes.
I leave, I go get into my car, and I said, wait a minute, God, are you being funny?
Yeah.
I said, are you telling me now, at 73 years old, I'm getting ready to start back?
My career, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So if it's your gift,
it's your gift.
In the middle, we're doing everything, we're planning everything.
Yes.
So that we could get to that part of who we're supposed to be.
But like you said, the universe and God laughs at all of us because they already know.
Yes.
Yes, they already know.
Right.
Yes, so they knew back then, guess what? I'm going to stop you from getting to where you go then.
Yes.
But I'm going to give it to you when you can receive it and appreciate it.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yes, because if I would have did comedy probably in my 20s or 30s, I wouldn't be here talking to you now.
Right.
I didn't have the maturity, the discipline, the structure, the wherewithal, or the intentions.
Right.
So now that I was at this stage, I was able to receive it, embrace it, and know the responsibilities that I had that goes along with it.
That is so true, because if we're not ready,
yes,
it's not going to happen the way it's supposed to happen.
You'll burn out.
Yes.
You'll be a shooting star.
And then in the middle of all that, we have our test trials that we have to go through.
Absolutely.
Whatever that is, the disappointments, whatever it is, you know.
Well, the funny thing to me that I saw a motivational speaker say, and it stuck with me. He said, you never stop having peaks and valleys. It's going to happen all throughout your life. So we always think in our life, when is it going to get to the point where we have no more valleys and we just peak?
Right.
And when I saw that, it made me embrace, no matter how much money you have, how successful you are, how many homes or cars, you're still going to have peaks and valleys.
Exactly.
It's just part of the process. It's the acceptance of how you handle the peaks and valleys.
Right, right, exactly. That is so true. It's how we look at it.
Yes.
And I look at it, any peaks and values or challenges that I have, I look at them as a blessing, because it's a lesson.
Yes.
That's testing me.
Absolutely.
To see if I believe in what I believe in, who I'm destined to be. And it has paid off. It is paying off.
I had the opportunity to to open up for several big names that I admired, that I idolized, that I saw. And I'm like, wow, I get to open for them, and I can't wait to be around them. And you're thinking they're greater than you because they're on TV and they have this. But when I got around them, I found out they're normal human beings with same issues as you have.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, wait a minute. I'm thinking you have everything in the world and you're good. No, you can't run or escape from human adversity, human challenges.
Thank you.
It affects all of us.
Exactly.
And when I saw the normalcy in it, it made me just accept it to say, hey,
wow,
I don't care where you go, you're still gonna have to face those realities and those challenges.
That's right.
Every
We're
day.
going to have those challenges every
Every day.
We're going to have the haters every day. But all of that helps us to grow.
Grow.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So who are some of the people that you headline for?
Dale Hughley, Tony Woods, Tony Roberts, Talon Harris. It starts to escape me after a while, but
right.
even if I didn't headline, being at those shows, you get to meet everybody. So it becomes a fraternity.
Yes.
So hanging out with like Tony Rock, Jordan Rock, Chris Rock brothers,
okay, yes.
they get to know you.
Yes.
They seen you so much. Bruce. He said,
right.
where I know you from? And his son said, that's the comedian from Jersey. You said, oh yeah. So you're looking like, okay, you remember me a little bit? So when you are around this fraternity and you see so many comedians, you're familiar with them and they know you through word of mouth or through being affiliated. And it's just great to know that in your quest or your journey, you've made a mark or you can sit in these same rooms or green rooms with these same individuals.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So when you were a firefighter, you said that they thought that you was funny as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was your beginning of becoming a comedian, or when?
I was always a fool. You ever see a natural fool?
Okay.
You know, my foster mother used to look at me and say, this child is mildly retarded. Not all the way, but mildly, because he's smart, but he touched. And that meant, I don't know what it is, but I want to beat you, but I can't stop laughing.
Right.
So it was that kind of thing.
Okay.
And you know, you go to schools and teachers say, I want to kick you out of class, but I'm laughing too.
Right.
So we get those kind of people that you get enamored in their silliness. So I was naturally silly.
Okay.
I was naturally a fool.
Okay.
But I wasn't trying.
Right.
Women that I've dealt with say, you more funny than just being yourself than on stage, because you're a fool. But you don't mean to be, you're just being yourself.
Okay.
So a lot of things that people thought were funny, I didn't even realize was being funny. I was just being me.
Such as?
You just being yourself. Like you ever be around somebody and you might just do anything and they laughing at you, you thinking like, what happened? And they thinking to themselves like, you don't see the funny in your silliness? And they're like, no, I was just, that's what I felt. That's what I said. Yes, it was organic. It was just natural.
Okay.
Now, it translated on the stage, but it was always there.
Okay.
Yeah, it translated on the stage, but just that person was it always was.
Okay, and so you said something earlier as far as the career that you chose, like if you want to be a comedian, but...
I did want to be a comedian. I was a silly firefighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I never said I wanted to be a comedian. I was just a fool.
Okay.
But being a fool, everybody loves somebody who will make you laugh.
Right, that's true.
So it could be a serious moment, and I found humor in it.
Right.
We could be in the middle of whatever, and I'm still finding humor in it. So they don't want to laugh, but they're still laughing. And then you say, this fool is crazy.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So it translates to saying, you should have been doing that anyway.
Okay. Okay.
Like my friend in college, what's Derek last name? He gonna kill me. They're like from Philly. I can't think of Derek last name right now. So when he hits me on Instagram, he says, "What took you so long?"
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
My boy Big D. I'm sorry, D. I don't know why your last name's not coming to me right now, but Big D from Philly. It was my road dog at Texas Southern University.
Okay.
And he said, "What took you so long?" And I'm looking like, I really wasn't trying to find a career, that it just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said. It's the timing.
Yes, yes.
You was ready.
Not only timing, the universe time.
No,
God's time.
that's what I'm talking.
Yeah,
When I say
divine
timing,
timing.
I'm talking about the God time.
Divine time.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes. Because when that comes into play,
there you go.
it's such a beautiful feeling.
Amen, amen.
To know that we're walking in whatever it is that we all want to do.
Derek Lockett.
Oh.
Derek would have killed me. You like, you don't know my last name? Derek Lockett.
Okay, well, I like your energy.
Ah, man, let
Yes.
me tell you something. One thing I was blessed with as a child, and I realized it, I didn't know it until I got older, was discernment. So I've always was able to feel good energy and bad energy. Like elders, dogs, and children can tell you right off the bat if
Yes.
you got good energy or bad
Yes.
energy. So I've always had that gift. It wasn't until I got into adult I was able to hone it and recognize it and draw into it and trust that instinct.
Right.
So you can feel good energy before it happens. You can feel the energy from a person before person ever speaks.
Yes.
So
that is true.
when you feel energy, you trust it. And once you understand it, you know good energy from bad energy. You see things in color. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm glad my energy was received. My
Yeah,
chakras,
yes.
my chakras in a good alignment.
Yes, definitely, yeah. So what is the advice that, because see, being a comedian, it's just something that you have to really, it's something that you just have to be able to make people laugh.
I'm the kind of comedian I am is when the lights go on and I step on stage, I turn on.
Okay. Oh,
But-
I'm gonna have to come to one of your shows.
Absolutely, absolutely. But other than that, I'm so many different facets.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna sit here and be silly all day.
Right.
And it hurts me because some people see me and they want that.
Ah.
So you might catch me in my entrepreneur mood.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
you might catch me in my spiritual mood.
Okay.
You might catch me in my I'm frustrated mood.
Right.
So they're never gonna be every day all day comedian.
Right.
So I'm like, that's a performer. That's for the stage.
Right.
When I'm
okay.
intellectual and I'm serious,
Right.
I don't have time to be joking.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
hard for people to see the transitions.
Right.
But
Right.
for me, I'm not sitting around all day trying to be funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is it that you want to leave the audience with?
I love for them to be entertained. Entertained. So every show I come out as a character.
Okay.
Rick James, Michael Jackson, Prince. Last show was Run DMC.
Okay.
So not only is it's a character that's relatable to our culture.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we know that character, we know that person, so it's nostalgic. You feel
Okay.
it.
Yes.
So to me, the entertainment part of it is like an appetizer.
Okay.
So one thing I know about us as a culture, if somebody say you funny, they want to know how funny.
Yes.
Oh, he funny? Let me see. So they're not comparing you to the average comedian. They compare you to Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. And I'm like, damn it, I'm not them.
Right.
So I gotta give you something to throw you off that, who is he?
Okay. So who you are is Mike Ross.
Yes.
And I want to thank you this evening for listening to us. Mike, I want to thank you so much for coming. And as I said, I have to come to your show. My name is Maryam Bey. Thank you so much for joining us today.